The week at Ibrox has felt like one of those emotional roller coasters that only Rangers can provide, where despair and belief seem to live side by side and switch places in the blink of an eye. A few days ago, the mood among the support was heavy after dropped points in the league, that familiar sinking feeling creeping in as questions were asked about momentum and consistency. Then, almost as if Scottish football wanted to remind everyone how quickly narratives change, rivals also stumbled, opening the door once again. What followed was a response that said a lot about this Rangers side, a response that has now dragged the title race right back into focus and tightened the gap at the top of the Premiership to just 3 points, setting the tone for what promises to be a relentless run-in. The victory over Kilmarnock was one of those games that cannot be judged simply by the final scoreline, even though winning by 5-1 always looks emphatic on paper. The first half told a more familiar story, with Rangers struggling to fully impose themselves, lacking that cutting edge and rhythm that fans crave, and it felt uncomfortably similar to recent frustrating outings. There was tension in the stands, impatience bubbling away, and a sense that the team needed a spark to ignite the performance. Yet football matches are often decided by how teams react, and Rangers reacted in a way that underlined why recent recruitment has been so important to this squad. When the second half began, it was as if a switch had been flicked. Even accounting for the fact that Kilmarnock were reduced to 10 men, Rangers suddenly played with freedom, confidence, and intent. The tempo increased, the passing became sharper, and spaces that were previously crowded started to open up. This was where the impact of new faces became impossible to ignore. The balance of the side looked different, more assured, and there was a clear sense that competition for places is pushing standards higher across the pitch. This match did not just deliver 3 points. It delivered evidence of why strengthening the squad was essential. One of the standout talking points was the performance at left back, a position that has been a source of debate for a long time. The new arrival slotted in with a composure and authority that immediately caught the eye, offering both defensive solidity and an attacking outlet. He looked like a natural fit, someone comfortable on the ball and confident in his positioning, and it felt like watching a solution to a problem that has lingered for far too long. There is always a danger of getting carried away after a single performance, but it was hard not to feel encouraged by how assured he looked in such a key role. Further forward, there were individual moments that lifted the crowd and reminded everyone of the quality within the squad. Seeing a new signing get on the scoresheet so early was significant, not just for the player, but for the atmosphere around the club. Rangers supporters can be unforgiving at times, particularly with new faces, and there is often a tendency to judge quickly, sometimes harshly. A goal can change that narrative instantly, buying patience and belief, and that was exactly what happened. It was a reminder that confidence is fragile, but once it clicks, it can transform performances. There were also flashes of creativity and flair that added to the sense of optimism. A cheeky backheel nearly resulted in another goal, a moment that might not have come off, but showed the growing confidence within the side. These are the little details that suggest players are expressing themselves rather than playing within themselves. It is not about perfection in every action, but about intent, bravery, and willingness to take risks when the moment feels right. Among all the positives, one young talent stood out in a way that sparked genuine excitement. At just 18 years old, his performance screamed potential, energy, and fearlessness. He played with the kind of confidence that belies his age, gliding past opponents, demanding the ball, and making things happen in the final third. It was the type of display that makes supporters dream, even while knowing the reality of modern football might make a permanent move unlikely. Still, imagining what a few seasons of regular football in Glasgow could do for his development is enough to get anyone carried away. Looking ahead, the schedule offers no breathing space. Matches are coming thick and fast, each one carrying weight and consequence. The Scottish Cup looms at the weekend, and while on paper it appears straightforward, Rangers fans know better than to take anything for granted. Cup competitions have a habit of humbling teams who lose focus, and progression is the only acceptable outcome. Beyond that, attention quickly turns back to the league, with a demanding away fixture against Motherwell on the horizon. Games like these often define seasons, not because of glamour, but because of the resilience and mentality they require. With 13 league matches remaining, the equation is brutally simple. Wins are everything. Every dropped point now feels magnified. Every victory is statement of intent. Rangers have clawed their way back from a daunting position earlier in the campaign, reducing a 14-point gap to just 3, and that alone speaks volumes about the turnaround in form and belief. It is easy to forget how bleak things looked not so long ago, but this resurgence has been built on collective effort, tactical clarity, and a growing sense of unity within the squad. That unity, however, has been tested at times by the atmosphere inside the stadium. The reaction from the stands during the Kilmarnock match sparked debate, particularly the boos at halftime despite Rangers holding a lead. It is a divisive topic, with some supporters believing that standards must be demanded relentlessly, while others feel that constant negativity can undermine confidence. This tension between expectation and support is not unique to Rangers, but it feels especially intense when the stakes are this high and emotions are running hot. The manager's response to those scenes added another layer to the discussion. He spoke candidly about his surprise at the reaction, emphasizing the importance of togetherness and positive energy, especially when the team is fighting to close the gap at the top. His comments highlighted how far the group has come in a short space of time and how proud he is of the collective effort rather than individual acclaim. For him, the focus remains on building confidence, using the depth of the squad effectively, and ensuring that every player feels trusted and valued as the season reaches its most decisive phase. This balance between demanding excellence and offering unwavering support is something that will continue to shape the atmosphere around Ibrox in the weeks to come. With momentum building, new signings settling in, and young talents making their mark, the sense is that Rangers are entering a critical period where belief could be the difference between falling short and achieving something special, and the story of this season feels far from finished. The conversation around mentality and standards has only intensified as Rangers continue this relentless chase, and it is impossible to ignore how much emotion now surrounds every result and every 90 minutes. The comments made after the Kilmarnock match struck a nerve because they touched on something deeper than tactics or substitutions. They touched on identity. Rangers is a club built on expectation, on the idea that winning is not a bonus but a duty, and that weight is felt by everyone inside Ibrox. From the manager's point of view, there is frustration when the journey and progress are overlooked, especially considering how far the team has come in a relatively short period. From the fans' perspective, there is fear of letting standards slip, fear of missing another opportunity when the title is still within reach. What cannot be disputed is the transformation that has taken place over the past weeks. Rangers were staring at a daunting gap earlier in the season, written off by many as being too far behind to realistically recover. Slowly, methodically, that gap has been eaten away. Points have been clawed back, belief has grown, and suddenly the pressure has shifted. Reducing a 14-point deficit down to 3 points is not something that happens by accident. It requires consistency, resilience, and a squad that believes it can win under pressure. That context matters, especially when judging performances that are not perfect but still deliver results. Depth within the squad has played a huge role in this resurgence. Where Rangers once looked thin and predictable, there is now genuine competition for places. Changes from the bench have altered games, injected energy, and changed momentum. This was clear against Kilmarnock, where the latter stages belonged entirely to Rangers. Fresh legs, hunger, and quality combined to overwhelm the opposition, turning a nervy contest into a statement win. It is a reminder that football matches are not just about the starting 11, but about the collective strength of the group over the full duration. The arrival of a new striker on deadline day has added another layer of intrigue to the season. Standing tall and powerful, he arrives with a reputation as a physical presence, someone capable of leading the line and bringing others into play. His words after joining spoke of pride, excitement, and hunger, emotions that resonate deeply with a support desperate to see players who understand what pulling on the jersey means. Moving away from Germany for the first time is no small step, but there is a sense that he sees this as the perfect challenge, a chance to test himself in a demanding environment where expectations are sky-high every single week. His journey has not been straightforward, and perhaps that is what makes his arrival all the more interesting. He has experienced setbacks, periods of frustration, and moments that required mental strength to overcome. Injuries and spells out of the team have shaped him, toughened him, and now he speaks like a player ready to take responsibility. For Rangers, that mindset is crucial. Strikers live and die by confidence, but they also need resilience, especially in a league where physical battles are relentless and chances can be limited. The connection with the manager could prove vital in helping him settle quickly. Clear communication, trust, and understanding of how he fits into the system all point towards a player who knows exactly what is expected of him. The emphasis on growth, on taking the next step, and on fighting for silverware aligns perfectly with where Rangers are right now. There is no time for easing in gently. The season demands immediate impact, and the new striker appears eager to embrace that challenge head-on. Beyond individual signings, the wider picture is one of a club entering a defining stretch. The next 13 league matches will shape not just this season, but potentially the narrative around this Rangers project as a whole. Every away trip carries danger. Every home game carries expectation. Places like Fir Park are never straightforward, and those are the fixtures where titles are often won or lost. Grinding out wins on difficult pitches, maintaining focus when nerves start to creep in, that is the true test of a championship side. The Scottish Cup also sits in the background as both an opportunity and a potential distraction. Progress is non-negotiable, yet managing minutes and energy will be key as the schedule tightens. This is where squad depth again becomes invaluable, allowing rotation without a dramatic drop in quality. Confidence breeds confidence, and success in one competition can often fuel momentum in another, provided the balance is right. Amid all of this, the relationship between the team and the supporters remains a central theme. Rangers thrive on noise, on intensity, on that feeling of being pushed forward by the crowd. When that energy turns negative, even briefly, it can have an impact, whether intended or not. At the same time, supporters demand commitment, bravery, and ambition, and they have every right to voice frustration when performances fall short of expectations. Finding that middle ground, where standards are upheld without undermining belief, could be one of the most important factors in the run ahead. What is clear is that Rangers are no longer chasing from a position of hopelessness. They are very much alive in the title race, armed with momentum, reinforced by new signings, and driven by a sense that something special is still possible. The margins are now fine, the pressure intense, and every decision, every performance, and every reaction will be scrutinized. In this environment, unity can be a powerful weapon, and as the season edges closer to its decisive moments, the story continues to build with every passing game, every roar from the stands, and every step taken towards the summit. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. The corridors at Ibrox are whispering, and the word gone ruined the fit betrayed is that the Rangers board hay drawn a hard line in the sand for Philippe RÖHL. Folk close to the club ken, this is nae just the usual bluster that comes wi a European tie. The message, as it's being passed along, is brutal in its simplicity. Beat LUDOGORETS or dinny bother showing your face back at the training centre. Aye, it's being framed as a private warning, but in Glasgow Nathan stays private for lang. Sources murmur that senior figures in the boardroom are fed up why drift, fed up why excuses, and fed up why a team that looks like it's still searching for its own reflection. The mood is said to be cold, businesslike, and utterly unsentimental. For a club that lives and breathes pressure, this feels like pressure turned to 11. RÖHL, for his part, is painted as calm in public, but insiders claim he kens fine will what's at stake. European nights are meant to be where Rangers find their edge, yet patience among the suits has thinned to a thread. There's talk that contingency plans are already sketched OOT on scraps of paper, names floated in quiet chats, just in case the gaffer's time is up. The players' arena immune to the tension either. Trainin' sessions, according to those watching closely, hey a sharper edge, fewer laughs, mere barked orders. Everybody kens that a manager's fate can hinge on 90 minutes, and that knowledge can either forge steel or crack it. In the pubs and on the buses, supporters are split. Some reckon this is the ruthless decisiveness Rangers need, a reminder that standards are non-negotiable. Others fear that sacking yet on neither manager would only deepen the churn, leaving the club stuck in the same loop. For Noah, it's all rumor, all speculation, the kind that feeds the back pages and fuels late-night phone-ins. But one thing's clear. This is being billed as an or pass or street moment. For RÖHL, the road ahead looks straight, narrow, and no room for a slip. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.